Hey, Sarah, welcome to Show Up on Video.
I'm so excited to be here.
I am excited to have you, especially because your vibe is very bright. I like your bright microphone, your colorful calendar, very organized. I need to talk to you all about that because I feel like you've got a lot of stuff that you have to keep in order for
Yes.
what you do. I am really, really excited to talk to you because I have never actually spoken to anyone that has a successful subscription box, but this is something that you have really, really nailed. And I want to hear just kind of like your story. So I already introduced you before your interview started, but why don't you kind of go into how Framed by Sarah got started, where you got started, and like the world of I can't even say it, subscription boxes.
It's kind of an evolution. And I think really all small businesses go through this evolution of what they do and what they sell. And that's kind of the same story. Framed is a weird name based on what I sell now because I sold frames when I started. I was an
Ah,
artist. I taught classes at a local studio every week. And it was always like trouble finding a frame to go around your artwork that I was teaching. It was a weird size and you could only get, a really basic frame from like a Hobby Lobby's or a Michael's for like $80. And it was like, it wasn't even cute. I started making frames for my own artwork. And
yeah.
then friends would come over and be like, where'd you get that frame? And I'm like, well, I made it. And so this started my business. I was already teaching these art classes. So now this became my side hustle. I started a business called Framed. I was making frames to match our artwork. I would paint them colors that complemented the artwork that we were doing. I would slug all these frames to my classes every night of the week. I would sell 40 frames a night. It was awesome. And that started my business. It turned into more than frames after the first Christmas. I became really people's Pinterest board. Like you pin all those projects that you would like to do at Christmas time and you never do them. I was making them for people. I was making signs, wooden signs, canvas signs. I started making monograms, wooden monograms. And this kind of is what led me into where I'm at today. Those giant, big wooden monograms. I'm from the South, so we put our initials on everything, like it's our stamp, right? And so I was making the monograms, and that turned into personalizing other things. People would bring me things, and I would start to personalize them with monograms, and that led from vinyl to embroidery to lasering to every way that you could personalize something. I was able to do that. And it was a gap in my local town that nobody was doing. And so I built my brick and mortar store as a gift shop, and I was making gifts for people. I was personalizing things. And over time, I would see the same customer come in at least once a month to my little tiny 600 square foot shop. That was my first store. And I would see that same person, and I would have post something on, say, Facebook or Instagram. And by the time they made it to my shop, it was sold out. And so they would always come in like bummed out, like, oh, I missed it. You had that on Instagram a couple of days ago and they're already sold out. And it was that moment that I was like, how could I create something that was for those VIP customers?
The recurring.
Yes, it was exclusive for them. They got first dibs. They felt incredibly important. It was like that first class experience within your business. And I thought a subscription box would be an amazing way to do that. Plus, there was reoccurring revenue. Any small business owner that is listening knows the ups and downs of your revenue and expenses. And are you going to eat or not eat for the week based on what you sold for the week? And I needed a way to kind of even that out. I wasn't paying myself regularly at that point because it was based on what I was making. And
Yeah.
so I started the subscription box, the monogram box, and it was purely local at the time. I figured if I could get 40, 50 women in a class a night, surely I could get 40 or 50 women to sign up for my subscription box. I had this big goal of having 100 subscribers because 100 subscribers meant my rent, utilities, everything, all the base expenses of my business would be paid for.
Covered.
And then anything that I sold was extra, and that would allow me a paycheck. So that was the goal, to get 100 subscribers. I had now moved into my second location, which was 4,000 square feet. My business was growing, and I launched my subscription box, and I got 44 subscribers on my first launch, and
Whoa.
I was ecstatic. So that launched the monogram box, and it was a mystery box. And it was the worst launch in the history of all launches, Donna. It was just a box with superimposed logo, like, here, buy my thing. I didn't tell them what was in it or anything. And when I did the box reveal that very first month, people went bananas, and I instantly sold out. I had added 25 in. So now I had 75 subscribers. And the next month I had 100. So in 3 months, I had hit my big goal of having 100 subscribers. And I was like, well, why stop now? And so now, 5 years later, we've got thousands of monthly subscribers, 3 different subscription offerings. I'm no longer in the 4,000 square foot store. I'm now in an 8,000 square foot warehouse where we pack and ship all over the country all the time.
Oh my goodness. How many years from there to
five,
now?
5 years for the subscription box, 9 years for the small business.
It's unbelievable. And so the subscription box, the way it works I mean, you have a few different options now, but
Mhm.
essentially you pay a monthly fee.
Yep.
And that box comes to you and it's kind of like an exciting thing. They don't really know what's coming, or do they know what's coming?
No, it's a complete mystery. I'll give them a sneak peek, but it's just a bunch of things really close together. You can't really tell. You get an idea from the fabrics and the color tones from the sneak peek, but you have no idea what those items are. It's like a Christmas gift to you every single month, from me to you every single month, because you don't know what it is, and it's for you because it has your initials on it. So it's just a nice little fun mystery gift that you're going to get in the mail once a month from me.
I love it. So like give an example of what's
So
in it.
last month we had this gorgeous canvas floral tote bag. It was reversible. One side was solid, one side was floral. So you could, whichever was your way. Came with a great wristlet that matched the bag. So you could throw your wristlet inside the big tote bag when you were out shopping or doing something like that.
And they're all monogrammed with your initials.
The big tote bag was just one item. Not everything has your initials.
Okay, I was going to say that's intense.
That'd be a lot of work. We pick one item and we personalize it. So the big tote bag, the small wristlet, we had a Vera Bradley koozie that matched the patterns of the bag. We had a t-shirt and a pair of earrings that matched. There's something else in there and I can't think of it at the moment. Maybe a sticker pack, like those little
It's
stickers
adorable.
on your water bottles. It's all for women. It's all really fun and trendy, but functional. We strive to have something that's fun that you wouldn't buy for yourself, something that's really functional that you will use in your everyday life. And we make sure that it's on trend and seasonal so that you can use it like right now. It's not like past stuff. It's not like, oh, we're sending you summer items in winter. It's for you to use right now.
And it's a monthly box.
Monthly, every month.
So how, and you said you have thousands of subscribers.
Yes.
You can just go on and purchase, and do you have to sign up for a year, or do you get a deal if you sign up for a long time, or it's just 1 month at a time? It's a recurring kind of.
The thing is, I try not to confuse customers at checkout. So I don't want to give them a lot of options, because when we have too many options, it's hard for us to make decisions. You have options of, do you want the t-shirt? Do you want the t-shirt and accessory, or do you want the box that has all the things and the t-shirt and accessory? Those are the options you get, and it's only monthly. So you just pay monthly. You can stay as long as you want. I've literally had people that have gotten all 63 of these boxes that I have curated. On average, people stay 2 to 3 years. You can cancel whenever you'd like to, and you fill in a little form that has your sizing and your initials and all of that thing. So no matter what I put in that box, it's for you, because we do shirts, we've done shorts, we've done pajama pants, we've done sandals. Like there's lots of different things that could come in that box. And so having all your sizes is important.
So I see on your website, and then we're going to get into the video stuff and the showing up online, because that's very important for this podcast. But I'm just curious. You have 3 options. I love this. It's the monogram box, the combo box, and the ultimate box. And so you can decide every single month, like, oh, this month I kind of want to splurge on myself. It's my birthday, or maybe or I'm going to, bring it down. I'm not going to be home a lot this month, whatever it is. So I love this idea of kind of giving people that option, but not giving them too much. And I think my guess, your primary client, you said, is a woman. Is there any more kind of details around who that woman is?
I would tell you she's typically from the South, because
the monogram.
We want the monogram. Not to say that I don't have subscribers all over the country, because I do, but probably 70% of my subscribers are from the South half of the US. And she's probably just a really kind of busy. I call her a mom because moms are just busy and they don't do for themselves a lot. We are typically doing for our kids and our family versus ourselves. So I call my ideal customer a Southern busy mom. And that she doesn't do for herself a lot. And this is her one treat a month that she gets just for her.
I think that that's really important. I think so many of us, I'm a mom as well. I'm not a Southern mom, but I'm a mom. And I find myself like going to the mall or going online to like, whatever, online shopping. And most of the time, or Target, right? Like most of the time I walk out with 97% for my boys, right?
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh, I got myself a tank top.
Yes.
It's just the way it is. We always want to purchase for others for the most part. So it's nice that something like without thinking comes to us and just gives us a little self-care. It feels exciting. Okay. So let's go back to like this time when you were launching. You said it was the worst launch ever, et cetera. You had a small business at an actual brick and mortar. You were showing up. You mentioned Facebook and a little bit on Instagram. What was kind of like your online presence at the time when this box was like released to the world, to the wild?
I didn't have an online presence, and it was really eye-opening for me. And really the subscription box was the only thing I had online because I had to set it up online because of the reoccurring payments. I couldn't do that in store. So I had to put this online. So people had to go online and sign up. So it was really the only product I had online when I started the subscription box. And I started it with really the intention that it was for my local customers, because I have a really cult-like following locally. And that was my customer. That was my best customer. I was seeing them all the time. But what happened as I was growing, we're talking maybe 300 to 400 subscribers at this point. They all lived in my town or a small town around me. Everywhere I went, the people were wearing my shirts, and it was awesome and it felt wonderful. But I knew I wasn't going to grow because there's no more people to wear my shirts, right? Everyone had one.
So true. You like were in a saturated market.
Yes. And so I had to figure out a way that I could get out of like my little, I call it my tri-state area because I'm on the cusp of multiple states, but how to get out of that area and further out where people weren't all wearing the same t-shirts. They didn't all have the same purse. They weren't wearing the same earrings when they went to the grocery store. And so I started to attempt to go online, and, I was already on social media. I had Facebook. I was jumping into Instagram. It was new to me at that point. I was resisting it because I thought, oh, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. I'll wait. It'll phase out. Well, it didn't. So I now had to like backtrack and catch up on the Instagram world. And I was falling flat. I wasn't reaching anyone. And I have other business friends, and I could see them just reaching all over the country, and they were live. They were live all the time. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be live. I'm not that person, because I'm an introvert. And they are extroverted and I am an introvert. And if I am one-on-one, like you and me right here, I'm great. But if you put me in front of a crowd, I'm going to shut down, freeze up, and crawl under the table. And I didn't want to do that. And I thought I can build my business without doing the Facebook Lives. We started Facebook ads. We were doing Instagram ads, and they just weren't getting a lot of traction. And finally, my small little team that I had said, I think you're going to have to go live. And I was like, okay, I think
I don't want to.
I don't want to go. But I knew at that point, that's what I needed to do to grow. And I was resisting it, trying to find every other option that there could be to not go live. And I realized unless I had $100,000 to spend on my Facebook ads, I needed to do something different. I wasn't a big business. I didn't have a big advertising budget. I needed to figure out how to grow in an organic way that didn't cost me a fortune. I couldn't afford that. And it was going live. And I just kept stopping myself. I would do all the things to set up to do a Facebook Live. I'd dress my mannequins. I would get positioned in a store that had a really good backdrop. I had my ring light. I had notes of what I was going to say so I wouldn't forget anything. And I would sit there and stare at the little button to go live for over an hour, and I would never do it. Like literally just sitting there in a panic, my legs shaking, I'm sweating, and I just couldn't do it. And I remember the last time that I tried, like this was like a lot of failed attempts to go live. I was all ready to do this and I just couldn't do it. My VA was on the other, she lived in a different state and she was on the other end waiting for me to go live. She goes, "Where are you?" And I was crying. I was like, "I can't do this. I'm not made for this." And she said, "If you don't press the damn button, I'm going to lunch." And I was like, okay, I went to the bathroom, I wiped my tears and I pushed the button and it was the worst live ever. I just knew I didn't want her to be mad at me. And I went live and it was scary and it was fast and I probably ended way too soon and didn't say all the things I wanted to say, but I got the first live done. And then it
And
was like,
then,
okay, I got to do this again.
yeah.
Because I kept thinking in my mind, if I just found an influencer for my business, that I wouldn't have to be the face of my business, that they could do box openings for me. They could wear all my cute shirts and designs that I had created. They would sell my product and I would just be behind the scenes and it would be fine. And so I went on this search for an Instagram influencer thinking, I'm not the person that's going to do this. And I kept just falling flat with my search because they were all really young. So they were in their 20s. They had great tans. They were skinny. I was overweight. I felt old, like all the things that you feel. And no matter what you look like everyone feels some part of those things. Every woman does. And I thought, well,
True.
these women are beautiful, but I don't know if my customer is going to relate to them. And it was kind of that moment that kind of hit me of like, well, why wouldn't they relate to them? Well, because they're not young 20-year-olds with no kids and this lovely free life that they live, right? And so it came to me, it came to that, I realized why I had this cult-like following locally, because these women in my store related to me.
Yeah.
They weren't super skinny. They weren't model-like. They didn't have the great tan and the trim figure. They were like me and they related to me and they felt comfortable coming into my store and talking to me and picking things out. And I realized in that moment that I was the influencer of my business. Whether I liked it or not, I was. And I had to translate what I was doing in my local community, in my local store, to online. And the only way to do that was to show up as myself. So I had to release all of this stress of me trying to show up as this perfect person. I wasn't even saying y'all on a Facebook Live because I felt like it made me look unprofessional.
You were kind of like hiding behind what you thought you had to be or had to look like.
Yeah. And when I finally just released all of that and I showed up a hot mess, saying y'all, talking about things that happen in my life with my kids and people like relating to me. And that's who they wanted to buy from. That's who they were connecting with. Like they were just like me. They were hot mess moms like me, just trying to get through the day without your kids, tearing something up or going to the ER. And they related to the way I looked in the products that I was selling because my number one sizes were large and extra large. And I wore an extra large on camera. And it took me a really long time. People would ask me on a Facebook Live, what size do you have on? I'm trying to see how it fits. I was like, don't ask me that. I'm not going to say that I wear an extra large. Like it was so stressful for me. But when I finally released that and said, yeah, I wear an extra large. I'll tell anybody that asks me I wear an extra large. And it finally just let go of everything I had been dreading. And I showed up week after week after week live every Friday morning, talking about my Friday faves in my shop and having conversations with the audience. And that's when it started to grow.
Yeah. It's what your story is so similar to so many others, right? And I think that why it's important that you're sharing it is because there's going to be someone that's listening that feels the exact same way, that has this great product, great service, great business. And the only thing holding them back from really publicizing or marketing it is this fear. And we all know, hearing the head of Instagram and just the way like all these online platforms are going, it's all video. And, the amount of money you can make on a TikTok live, the amount of money you can make on a Facebook live. And there's something so much more realistic when you can have that live one-on-one conversation as if they're in your store in Texas versus a picture. And look, pictures are great. We should all use pictures for marketing our businesses, right? Like, especially if you have a product, pictures are important, but it's so much more um, just like real when you're not just showing the product, but you're touching the product, you're
Yeah.
trying it on, you're
Yeah.
wearing it. And what you mentioned about like the world of influencers, right? You were like, I'm not a good influencer for my business. Well, you aren't an influencer for your business, but you are the story behind your business. And I think that that's like the most important thing here is if you were Sarah trying to represent another person's subscription box business, it would never make sense. It would never connect the dots. The clients wouldn't fall in love, right? The
Right.
reason why your boxes grew and the business grew so much, even just in person, but then when you started to kind of like go more wide, is because they fell in love with the person behind the business. And let's be real, anything we buy online, we can find somewhere else. That's it. Any product, any service.
Yeah.
So why us? Why you?
Mhm.
And that's you. That's literally you, your
Yeah.
stories, your vibe, your energy. And even just like saying stuff like, I don't feel skinny enough, or I don't feel like I have it together. The second I hear that, I want to be on your side, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like perfection. I don't think anyone does. I think we all think we should be perfect, but who likes it?
Right. Who strives for that? I just want to get through the day and feel happy at the end of the day. But seeing people that are overly polished, overly perfect, overly professional, it's not realistic. And we can see that a mile away. And that's not someone being real. And
A
we
hundred
want
percent.
real connections. And we saw that more than ever as we went through 2020. The way that people needed to be connected to other people and the way people needed to be connected to the brands they were buying from changed everything for the way that we do business in e-commerce.
100%. I think another thing is, going on a journey, and I don't know how much you show up online on a day-to-day basis. Do you show up in your stories? Is this something that you're like bringing people into the behind the scenes
Yeah,
also?
they love the behind. Anytime we're in the warehouse and we can just have a stack of boxes that we're working on, they love, like, what are y'all working on? What are
Yeah.
you doing? The stories, short video is amazing. Reels, TikToks. That is such a bite-sized snippet of what they're buying into, right? When they see a 30-second video of us packing, rows and rows and rows of subscription boxes, they're intrigued, they're interested. They're like, my box is in there. This is so cool. They're bought in, they're loyal, they're coming back because they know how the process works. They know how hard you're working for them. And so when we're monogramming items, when we're packaging items, when we're shipping, the little videos of us loading thousands of boxes into the FedEx truck always are crazy because they're like, that's
Oh,
so
I'm
cool.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and it means nothing to us, right? Like we do it all the time, but it's different. They don't get to live that world.
Absolutely. No, it's very exciting to see that. And I know that from like as a consumer on TikTok and as a viewer, I mean, I also obviously I create on TikTok, but I am such a fan of seeing anything visual like that, like a behind the scenes, because it's tangible, it's real. Whereas like what I do, I don't ever feel like I can show like, I mean, I can show like a time lapse of me filming a video, but it's not the same. I like seeing when things are packaged. That's why so many times like TikTok lives. Have you gone live on TikTok?
No, I don't have enough followers on TikTok.
Girl, we got to get you. Well, after we talk about all of the places people can find you, and we'll tag and we'll put it in the show notes, but we got to get you 1,000 followers, because the second you start going live on TikTok, like those lives of people packaging stuff
Oh
and
my
saying
God.
like, do you want your box packaged while we're here? Oh my God.
I watched one the other day and she was literally pulling orders and writing their name. Like she did some lettering on whatever she was selling and putting it in an envelope. And people are like, do mine next. I just ordered it. I
Freaking
was like,
out.
this is crazy.
10,000 viewers. I mean, it's insane. The best are like, well, it's anything. There's like, anytime there's some sort of packaging or shipping, people obsess over, or crafts, any sort of like crafting. But I'm embarrassed. I spent like 2 hours the other night watching someone put together like bulk candy bags, like packaging candy. And I was like, I couldn't stop. I mean, it's like embarrassing. It's like, what am I watching? I guess there's worse things to watch.
There's definitely worse, but it's like 2 hours of your life you will never get back, right?
Right. Okay. So now, like, because now you've kind of pivoted, not pivoted, but in addition to having this incredibly successful subscription box company, you also have a podcast and you teach others how to build their subscription boxes, why can't I say it? Because I
know.
don't do it for a living.
Hard.
Subscription boxes. So what would you say, like for anyone that's listening here, if they were just, on the fence and they wanted to do something, is there like kind of like 3 things that you would say that they should start when it comes to
Yeah.
creating an
So
idea?
if you're already in business like I was, it's starting with your best sellers. So for me, I knew that my best sellers were my graphic tees, any kind of bag, purses, totes, wallets, wristlets, any kind of bag, and cups. So tumblers, because I could personalize all of those things. Those were my top sellers in my business. So I knew that those would be what people would want. So I started with those 3 things. So look at the history of your sales. What are your best sellers? What do people repeat buy? So people always come back and buy more shirts. They're wearing t-shirts all the time. So that was such a repeat buy. They want more bags all the time. So I'm giving them tote bags, purses, wristlets, all kinds of different bags that they can use in different functions. What are people repeat buying? And then what do you have the best profit margin on? Because that's one of the key things for your subscription box, because essentially you're putting all these things together. You're showing a huge amount of value. You don't want to underprice you. You're not FabFitFun. You can't sell everything for $29. You're not, you can sell everything for $10. You're a real small business that has to make a profit, but you need to pick the items that have a good profit margin, that have a high perceived value. And so if you're in business, you know what those items are. They're the margin builders in your e-commerce business. And so those margin builders have a low cost, high value. And so if you can put some of those things together, your top selling products, your repeat purchases, and your margin builders, you're going to have a great subscription box. And if you're unsure, if you're just sitting here like, I'd love to start a product-based business, I'd love to start a subscription box. We go through this in one of my free workshops called the 6 and 60 workshop. I'm going to tell you how you can lay out 6 months worth of boxes. We're going to talk about who your potential ideal customer is and could be, and then how to curate 6 boxes for that person and what this would look like. Because if you can't figure out what is going to go in the box, it does you no good to go packaging shopping, because that's fun. It does no good to think about shipping and logistics, because you don't even know what you're going to be sending or how you're going to be sending it. We have to figure out what's going to be in the box first, and then we can audience build based on what we figured out about our ideal customer. Then we can start shopping for products. We can start building our packaging, and all the rest start to come into play.
When you are in that process of just starting and you don't have maybe your solid audience or customers yet,
Yeah.
do you wait to get the customers before you're purchasing, or you purchase before you get the customers?
No, audience building is so important. You know this, and most people listening, it's hard because they come into Launch Your Box, which is my coaching program. We have thousands of students that I coach monthly on this. But when they come in, they're so excited. They want to go buy the products. They want to go make the packaging. They want to go do the things. But it's not if you build it, they will come. They have to come, and then you can sell it to them.
Right.
We can have the most amazing subscription box, but if nobody sees it, we don't have buyers. So we have this period of time where we have to build an audience, and we have to serve them. We have to show up and serve them with, tips and tricks, or we're going to relate to them because we're crazy busy moms, and we're going to have fun memes or fun quotes that they're going to share. And they're going to start collecting people because they relate to this Southern busy hot mess mom that I am. And now I'm going to start collecting people, and I'm just going to serve them by sharing some fun entertainment or some tips with their lives, and then I'm going to sell to them. And sometimes this period is 30 days, sometimes it's 90 days, sometimes it's 6 months, but we can't sell to nobody. So we have to spend time niching down to the audience that we are going to sell to, and then collecting them: followers, email lists, video views. All of those things will help us when we launch. If we don't have those things, we're going to fall flat when we launch.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, it matters for any business. Doesn't matter what the business is. We have to start by offering a lot of value, audience building, community building. And then what's so cool about what you do, and it works even for businesses like mine, where it's a service, it's a product, it's not a product, but it's a service. is the second people start to use your product or hire you
Yeah.
and enjoy the experience, they want to tell their friends. They want to show it off. They want to tag you. They want you to reshare their story. And so all of a sudden, I am sure when it started small, it started to build. And now when people are purchasing your products, I guarantee you a lot of them, if they're active on social media, love to tag you and share it with their friends. And that is literally gold in the online space, is all about getting your face in front of new people by referral, like by word of mouth. It's the best way to grow. And even just doing this podcast, getting on other people's shows, getting on other people's Instagram lives or Facebook lives, collaborating, creating reels together, I always say is the best way to grow your business, is just getting seen, just
Yeah.
getting seen by new people, by new audience. And I
That's
think
where it is.
TikTok, because like obviously I'm such a TikTok fan, and we talked about this already. We TikToked about this already. But what I think about TikTok, it always shocks me. So when you create content on Instagram, for the most part, it's going out to your audience.
Yes.
Not even all your audience, unfortunately, but it's going for the most part out to your audience. TikTok, it's going out to people that do not follow you, which
Yes.
is gold for any business. And so showing up on video in a place like that is so shocking, because you think like kind of like you did a few years ago, where it's like, I've exhausted all my options. Like every mom in the South knows who well, they don't know who you are. Not every mom in the South knows who you are. And so when you go on programs or platforms like TikTok,
Mhm.
you're no longer showing up just for your group or just for your followers. You're
Yeah.
showing up for all these new people. And it's shocking to think how many people are actually out there.
Even on Instagram Reels, Facebook is
Yes.
different, but Instagram Reels, when you look at the insights of your short videos on Instagram Reels, your non-followers is 10 to 1 your followers of who that video is shown to. And so there's no better way to get in front of more people than to do those short videos.
It's the only way to really get seen, and then nurturing the crap out of those relationships through stories and Facebook groups and whatnot, email list, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, Sarah, your story is so inspiring, and I'm definitely going to be checking out your boxes. Where do people find you? What's the best place to find you? Instagram, your website, et cetera.
Website's great. And I'm in 2 different places. So if you're interested in the Monogram Box or the T-shirt club, my retail site is called framedbysarah.com. And then if you're interested in learning about how to start, launch, and grow your own subscription box, you can go over to launchyourbox.com. We have a monthly membership with thousands of subscription box students that we work with every single month.
It's so cool. And do you show up when you show up on Instagram? Which one do you go to normally, or is it Framed by Sarah? Is that your Instagram that you're usually on?
Oh, I'm sorry. Framed by Sarah is my retail, and How to Start a Sub Box is my coaching. And so both are on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok on both too, but I'm under Sarah Williams on TikTok for the coaching part, but Framed by Sarah on TikTok too.
Okay, so How to Start a Sub Box is where you can really learn kind of the business behind it. And that's probably a lot more of your behind the scenes, I would imagine, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. We share lots of wins, lots of stories, lots of tips and tricks to get you going on your subscription box journey.
I feel like I should start a subscription box, but with my favorite gum. Like, I don't know what to put in there, but we'll have to figure something out. Okay. Sarah, you're amazing. I will put all the links below, and I'm so glad you finally got past that fear to show up, because the second you get past that, and for everyone, by the way, what Sarah said, this feeling of like, WTF, panic attack. I don't want to do this. I hate this.
Yeah.
Every single person I know, for the most part, unless you're a born actor performer, feels that way. I had a massive panic attack on my first Facebook Live in 2017. So I talk about this all the time, and you can get past it. That's the coolest thing, is like, it's just like a fear of roller coasters. Once you get on that roller coaster, you're like, okay, that was scary, but I did it. I could probably do it again.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing you can survive these scary feelings and push through them. I love your story, Sarah.
My advice for anyone that's still struggling with showing up on video would be, do something that makes you feel beautiful. Like, go get your hair done, get a new shirt. They'll make you feel beautiful. Set a schedule, make it a routine. So go live once a week, every time, same day, so you can quit talking yourself out of it. And then my other advice would be grab 3 of your friends, tell them to jump on live with you so you can talk to someone if you're in fear that no one's going to show up or you're not going to have conversation to talk about on live. Feed them some questions. Like I would say, can you ask me about my earrings? Can you ask me about how you can get that t-shirt that I'm wearing? So then it felt natural and it didn't feel salesy. So those are my 3 tips for anyone that has not been doing it or been afraid of doing it. And once you do, probably your first 10, you're going to hate, but you're going to get better and better. And then you'll be able to flip on the camera whenever you want.
Yeah, and you may even like it.
Mhm.
Like that's the thing is I think a lot of people think that they'll hate it, but the second they start to realize like you may hate going on video or going live, but you love talking to people, you love communicating, you love selling, you love that back and forth. Like I love going live because I get that feedback, right? Whereas when we create videos and just press post, you would get comments, it's not the same. So I love this story, Sarah. You're so relatable. So many women are going to feel exactly like you did. And I'm sure they're going to reach out to you and check you out on all your platforms. Thank you so much for being here, Sarah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.